Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel. Today we shall be looking at angles in a polygon. And what is a polygon? A polygon is a plane, flat, two-dimensional closed figure bounded by straight lines. By this definition, we can see that a circle is not a polygon. A circle is a plane shape but not a polygon. Because for it to qualify to become a polygon, it must have straight edges. That is to say, a plane, flat, two-dimensional closed figure bounded by straight lines. That is exactly what qualifies it to be a polygon. We have various kinds of examples of polygons here. The smallest of them all is a triangle. A triangle having 3 sides, quadrilateral 4 sides, pentagon 5 sides, hexagon 6 sides, heptagon 7 sides, octagon 8 sides, nonagon 9 sides, and decagon 10 sides. Now we have some of the formulas that we can use to determine some of the interior angles of a regular polygon, each interior angle, each exterior angle, and the summation of interior and exterior angle of a polygon and what it gives us. All right, so let's start with the first one, some of interior angles of a regular polygon. When we say regular means that the sides are equal and each of the angles are equal as well. So, and the formula for calculating the sum of interior angles of a regular polygon is 180 bracket n minus 2. That is the formula. Then each interior angle of a regular polygon. Remember what I said about regular? Regular means that each of the angles are equal in measure. So each interior angle of a regular polygon, the formula is 180 bracket n minus 2 all over n, where n represents the number of sides of that particular polygon. Like in the case of triangle has 3 sides, so we substitute 3 in place of n there, which represent the number of sides. Then each exterior angle of a regular polygon, the formula is 360 divided by n. N still represent the number of sides of the polygon. So I'll be giving you the pictorial representation of some of these definitions here for you to be able to see it more clearer. Then we have the polygon's number of sides, number of triangles. This symbol represents triangles, sum of interior angles of any polygon. Then let's start with triangle. Triangle has 3 sides. Then to get the number of triangles in a triangle, all we need to do is to say n minus 2. N represents the number of sides. In the case of triangle, that will not be 3 minus 2. That will give us 1. Meaning that a triangle has 1 triangle. That sounds so funny. A triangle having 1 triangle. And this 1 triangle here multiplied by 180 will give all the sum of the interior angle of any triangle. That's why we can now arrive to say that the sum of the interior angles of any triangle is equal to 180 degrees. Quadrilaterals are 4-sided shapes or 4-sided figures, as the case may be. We have various kinds of quadrilaterals. A rectangle is a quadrilateral. Square is a quadrilateral. Rhombus is a quadrilateral. Parallelogram is a quadrilateral. So because they have 4 sides, how do we determine the number of triangles in it? That will not mean the number of sides, which is 4 minus 2 will give us 2. So 2 triangles. Then 2 times 180 will give us 360, meaning that a quadrilateral has the sum of its interior angle as what? 360 degrees. Pentagon has 5 sides. 5 minus 2 will give us 3, meaning that it has 3 triangles. 3 multiplied by 180 will give us 540 degrees, which is the sum of the interior angle of any pentagon. Hexagon has 6 sides. Then 6 minus 2 will give us 4. That is to say 4 triangles. 4 multiplied by 180 will give us 720 degrees. Likewise, others like heptagon, 7 sides. 5 triangle, 5 times 180, 900 degrees. Octagon, 8 sides. 6 triangles, 6 multiplied by 180 will give us 1080 degrees. Nonagon has 9 sides. 9 minus 2 will give us 7. 7 multiplied by 180 will give us 1260 degrees as the sum of the interior angles of any nonagon. Then decagon has 10 sides. 10 sides, 10 minus 2 will give us 8, meaning 8 triangles. 8 multiplied by 180, that gives us 1440 degrees. So these are some of the explanations of the various kinds of polygons. We have so many other ones like polygon with 20 sides, 21, 22, and so on. but we have to narrow it down to this. Then in our calculation, we are going to extend it to other kinds of polygons. All right, so I'll be giving you the pictures of some of these polygons and using it to explain the interior angle, exterior angle, each interior angle, each exterior angle, as well as the summation of interior and exterior angle of any polygon to be equal to 180 degree. Let's move on to the next slide. Now let's look at the diagrams as we have it on the board. You can see the triangle here. The interior angle of this triangle are these various angles here. This is what we call the interior angle. Interior means inside. The inner angle, that's interior. The interior angle of this pentagon, why do we call this pentagon? Because it has how many sides? 5 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 sides. And that's what we call it, pentagon. So these are the angles. We call it the interior angles. That's the angles inside of the figure. So these are the interior angles. And to get the interior angle of these, the sum of the interior angles, as we have it in the formula here, of this pentagon, what do we need to do? We have to first of all recognize the number of sides of this pentagon. How many sides does a pentagon have? A pentagon has 5 sides. 5 sides. All right, so since it has 5 sides, we have to substitute the value inside this formula, which is 180 brackets. In place of n, what do I put? 5, which represents the number of sides, minus 2. That gives us 180 multiplied, because this bracket now means multiplication. 5 minus 2 will give us 3. And when you multiply 180 by 3, that will give us 540 degree. That means the sum of the interior angle of this pentagon is 540 degrees. So when we want to determine each of the angles, then we have to get this total number of interior angle, that's the sum of the interior angle of a pentagon, that is 540, and divide them by the number of sides, which is what? 5. And when we do that, what do we have? 5 cancel here, 5 cancel here, 1. Then 5 divided this 1 cannot go through, that will be 0. Then carrying the 4 to this side, that 5 divided 40, 10, 40 will give us what? That will be 8. So therefore, each of this angle will now be 108 degree. 108 degree for each of them. 108 degree, 108 degree, and 108 degree. That is the value of each interior angle of a regular pentagon. The reason why we call it regular is because each of the angles are equal. But a situation will come whereby one of the angles will be bigger than the others. That is to say, it becomes irregular. Now, talking about exterior angle. To determine the exterior angle of any polygon, you have to stretch this line. Stretch the line going in this form. Stretch the line going in this form. So what we call the exterior angle is the angle that exists outside. As you can see here, the angle that exists outside is known as the exterior angle. Just like name implies, exterior, outside. All right, so looking at the formula that we have here, each exterior angle of a regular polygon is this. So therefore, the sum of the exterior angle of any polygon, sum of the exterior angle, this plus this plus this plus this plus this will give us 360 degree. Then talking about the interior angle plus exterior angle of any polygon is equal to 180 degree. Look at it here. This is the interior angle and this is the exterior angle. That's interior angle plus exterior angle will give us angle on a straight line. As you can see, angle on a straight line. And we know that angle on a straight line is equal to 180 degrees. That's why we said interior angle plus exterior angle of any polygon is equal to 180 degree. You can obtain same from a triangle here. Can obtain same here. Can obtain same here. That is to say, these are the exterior angles here. So this exterior angle plus this exterior angle plus this exterior angle will give us 360 degree. Then if we are to get the summation of the interior, this is the interior, plus that of exterior, that will give us angle on a straight line. That's why we said that interior plus exterior will give us 180 degree as we have it in our formula. All right, so let's proceed with some examples. Now let's take some examples. Number one example here, calculate the sum of the interior angles of polygon with number A, 15 sides, and number B, 21 sides. Let's get the solution. For number A, the polygon has how many sides? 15 sides. That is to say, N represents 15 sides, because N represents the number of sides, and we are asked to find the sum of the interior angles of a polygon with 15 sides. Remember the formula: sum of interior angle of a regular polygon is equal to 180 bracket n minus 2. Is in the formula already. Then to get the answer to this, we have to substitute our 15, which represents the number of sides, to that of n here. That will give us 180 minus, that's multiplied by 15 minus 2. That gives us 180 bracket 15 minus 2 will give us 13. That means 180 multiplied by 13. The answer to the question become 2,340 degree. That becomes the answer to this. So the most important thing is, when the number of sides is given, that is n, you substitute the value inside this formula for finding the sum of the interior angle of any regular polygon. That will give you the answer to the question. Let's take the B part. Then the B part of the question. Here we have the number of sides is 21 sides. Alright, so to substitute the value of n in the formula, that will give us 180 bracket, in place of n we write 21 minus 2. That gives us 180 multiplied by 21 minus 2 will give us 19. That is to say, 180 multiplied by 19, that will give us 3,420 degree as the sum of the interior angle of a polygon with 21 sides. I hope this is clear enough. Alright, so let's take some other examples. Now let's take example 2. In example 2, the question reads, the sum of the interior angles of a polygon of n sides is 2,520 degree. How many sides does the polygon have? Now you pay attention. Let's get the answer to this question. The sum of the angles is given in the question. So we write sum of the angle. Remember, it's interior angles. It's given as 2,520 degree. Alright, so that's the major thing that is given, and they ask us to find the number of sides. That's the number of sides represented by n. So we are looking for the number of sides. So how do we solve this problem? We have to get the formula for solving the sum of the interior angles of a regular polygon, which is sum of the angles, this represent angles, is equal to 180 bracket n minus 2. That is the formula. So all we need to do is to substitute the value of the angle that we have here and find the value of the unknown n, which is the number of sides. So what is the value of sum of angles? The sum of the angle there is 2,520, then equal to 180 bracket n minus 2. So we have to open the bracket. That gives us 2,520 is equal to 180 times n will give us 180 n. Then 180 multiplied by minus 2 will give us minus 360 degree. Alright, so we have to collect like terms.
meaning that the number minus 360 will have to come over here. We have it as 2,520, then minus 360 coming over here become plus 360, then is equal to 180, and we've just collected like term. So when we sum these two together, what will it give us? That will give us 2,880. 2,880 equal to 180n. So we have to divide both sides by the coefficients of n. So dividing both sides by the coefficients of n, that will now be n is equal to 2,880 divided by 180. That is n, which is number of sides, is equal to 2,880 divided by 180. What will be the solution to the question? Then the value of n will now be equal to 16. So the answer to the question is 16 sides. That is the solution to number 2 question. Now let's take a look at number 3. Now let's take a look at number 3 example. Here we have a question. A regular polygon has angles of size 150 degrees each. Remember, this time around they use the word each. Using the word each means one of the angles. How many sides does the polygon have? Now let's get solution to this. Solution. Now let's look at some of the things that are given. What we have given in the question is each angle. Each angle, that's each interior angle. And it's given to us as 150 degrees. That is exactly what is given. And it asks us to find the number of sides. Number of sides. Number of sides, which we denote with letter N. So that's exactly what we are looking for. Now, which formula are we to use for this particular example? Remember they made mention of the word each. And at the beginning of the video, I gave you the formula for calculating each angle, each interior angle of any regular polygon. And that they are give you each angle, that's each interior angle of a regular polygon as 180 bracket n minus 2 divided by n. That was exactly the formula given for calculating each angle of each interior angle of a regular polygon. Now let's substitute the values here. The one that is given to us here is each angle, which they mention here. All right, so from there we substitute the value of each angle, which is what? 150 degree is equal to 180 bracket n minus 2 all over n, because we are looking for n. All right, so we have to open the bracket here. That gives us 150 is equal to 180 times n will give us 180 n minus 180 multiplied by 2 will give us 360 all over n. So we have to cross multiply, just like saying 150 over 1. And you know that 150 over 1 is something as 150. So when we cross multiply, you have it this way. 1 times the whole of this will give us 180n minus 360 is equal to 150 multiplied by n will give us 150n. All right, so what next do? We have to collect like terms, meaning that the ones with n will have to go to one side. So 150n we have to come over here. Y minus 360 we move over to the other side. So that will now be 180. That will now be 180n. Then 150n moving over to this side becomes minus 150n equal to, then minus 360 going over to the other side become positive. That's 360. Now, let's continue from here. 180n minus 150n, that will give us 30n equal to 360 degrees. So what do we do next? We divide both sides by the coefficients of n. And the coefficient of n here is 30. That gives us n is equal to 360 all over 30. Then 360 divided by 30, of course, that will give us 12 sides. 12 sides. That becomes the answer to this question. So once they mention the word each angle, you make use of this formula. When they say the sum of the interior angles of a regular polygon, then you will not be having all over n there. The formula becomes 180 bracket n minus 2. But once they make use of the word each, then you make use of this formula. I hope this is quite clear. Now let's move to the next example. That's example 4. Now let's look at example 4. Example 4 question says, a regular polygon of n sides has each exterior angle to be 45 degrees. Find the value of n. This is a why question. Now, how do we approach this particular one? Solution. They gave us the exterior angle. Each exterior angle. Remember the previous one we saw was each interior angle. Now this time around, each exterior angle is given to us as 45 degree rather. 45 degree. Alright, so what is the formula for calculating each exterior angle of a regular polygon? And the formula is given to us at the beginning of this video as each exterior angle, this represent angle, is equal to 360 all over n, where n represent the number of sides. If you look at the beginning of the video, you see this formula there. Alright, so how do we solve it? We have to substitute the value of the each exterior angle given, which is 45 degree, equal to 360 all over n. So what we do next, that we cross multiply. 45 degree multiplied by n will give us 45n, equal to 1 multiplied by 360 gives us 360. So divide both sides by the coefficients of n, which is 45. N is equal to 360 divided by 45. And the answer to the question is 8 sides. That is the solution to this particular one. Now let's move to example 5. Now for the example 5, the question reads, an angle of a pentagon is 120 degrees. The other angles are equal to one another. Find the size of one of the other angles. Now let's take a look at how the question will be approached. Now let's take a look at the diagram. We are talking about a pentagon here, of which the question says an angle of a pentagon is 120 degrees. An angle, that means one particular angle out of the 5 angles in a pentagon is 180 degrees. Then the other angles are equal to one another. Find the size of one of the other angles. We now say let each of the other angles be x. Alright, so since they said one angle out of the 5 angles is 120. So look at a pictorial example of pentagon. Assuming this is the one that is 120 degree. So this is one angle out of the 5 angles of a pentagon that is 120. And they now say that other ones are equal. So, and we now represent the other ones as x. Meaning that this place x degree. Then this place x degree. This place x degree. This place x degree. So now, as we can see from here, we now use x to represent other angles of the pentagon. So what are we going to do here? Then we are going to sum up all the angles of the pentagon. Remember, the sum of the interior angles of any pentagon is equal to 540 degrees. So that is to say, we have to sum up everything that we have here and say equal to 540 degrees. If you recall, at the beginning of the video, we were able to outline some of the interior angles of regular polygons, of which that of a pentagon was tagged to be 540 degrees. So that is to say, we have to add everything here and say equal to 540 degrees. That is x plus x plus x plus x plus 120. That will give us 540 degree, because that is the sum of the interior angles of a pentagon. You remember how to get the sum of the interior angles of any polygon. That is 180 bracket n minus 2. Alright, and we know that pentagon has 5 sides. That will mean 180 bracket 5 minus 2. That gives us 180 multiplied by 5 minus 2 will give us 3. And when you multiply 180 by 3, that will give you 540 degree. And that is the sum of the interior angle of a pentagon. You can use the same process to get other pentagons. Now let's get the calculation. Remember, you have to give your reason that this is sum of the interior angles of a regular pentagon. So x plus x plus x plus x will give us 4x plus 120 equal to 540. All right, so from here, what we are going to do is that we have to collect like terms. That will now be 4x is equal to 540 minus 120. 4x is equal to 540 minus 120 will give us 420 degree. Then dividing both sides by the coefficient here is 4. That is 420 divided by 4. Then the value of x is equal to 105 degree. 105 degree. And that is the answer to each of these angles. So each of these angles will be 105 degree, 105 degree, 105 degree, 105 degree. So, and when you sum all of them together, that will give you 540 degree. And that is the solution to number 5. Now let's take a look at numbers. Let's take a look at example 6. Here the question reads, if the angles of a quadrilateral are x degree, x plus 10 degree, x plus 20 degree, and x plus 30 degree, find the value of each of the angles. So first of all, we have to find the value of x. After finding the value of x, we have to find the value of this angle, find the value of this angle, as well as the value of this angle. But the most important thing here is that they mention quadrilateral. Quadrilateral has to do with shapes. That's a plane figure with 4 sides. All right, so which has this angle? So you have, when you count it, you find out that they are 4 in number: 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we know that this sum of the interior angles of any quadrilateral is equal to 360 degree. Now, what it means is that we have to sum up everything here and say equal to 360 degree, as we indicated in the video at the beginning. So we have to sum up everything here and say equal to 360 degree, because the sum of the interior angles of any quadrilateral is equal to 360 degree. So that means we have to say x plus 10 plus x plus 20 plus x plus 30, and that is equal to 360 degree. You have to offer your reason. The reason being that this is the sum of angles in a quadrilateral. So let's open the bracket. That gives us x plus 10 plus x plus 20 plus x plus 30 equal to 360 degree. So let's add, collect like terms. That's x plus x plus x plus x will give us 4x. Then 10 plus 20 will give us 30. 30 plus 30 will give us 60, equal to 360 degree. So we collect like terms. We have to collect like terms now. All right, so this one we have to move over to the other side. Plus 60 moving over to the other side become minus 60. So we have it as 4x is equal to 360 minus 60. That will give us 4x is equal to 300. So dividing both sides by the coefficients of x, the coefficients of x is 4. That will give us 300 all over 4. The value of x is 75 degree. So we've gotten the value of x. So remember what the question says. The question says we should find the value of each of these angles. All right, so the first one we already got it. So the value of x is automatically 75 degree. As for this one, which is x plus 10, that is to say we substitute 75 for x. So that will now become 75 for the place of x plus 10. That gives us 85 degree. So for the next angle, which is x plus 20, that gives us, in place of x, we put 75 plus 20. That gives us 95 5 degrees. Then the last of them are, which is x plus 30. That gives us 75 in place of x plus 30. That gives us 105 degrees. So that is the solution to this. So when you sum up all these angles, they must give us 360 degrees, because sum of the interior angles of any quadrilateral is equal to 360 degrees. Once they mention the name of the polygon, you should be able to know what it's going to be equal to. If they mention triangle, that means when you sum up everything there, it's going to be 180. Quadrilateral is going to be equal to 360. Pentagon is going to be equal to 540 degrees. So that is exactly how to approach this. Let's now move to the last question. Here we have the last example, example 7. A regular polygon of 2a plus 1 sides has 140 degrees as the size of each interior angle. Then the question demands that we find the value of a. Look at how we're going to approach this particular one. The solution. Let's identify some of the things that are given. Number of sides, n, is given as 2a plus 1. That is one of the things that are given. Another one that is given is each angle, because they mentioned that has 140 degrees as the size of each interior angle. So each angle, remember the formula we use for each angle. Each interior angle, let's identify that. Each interior angle is given as 140 degrees. So the question says we should find the value of a. Alright, so how do we go about this? To find the value of a, let's divide the board in two so that it will be able to contain our answer. Alright, so the formula we are going to use, the formula for each interior angle, because they made mention of each interior angle here. That's each interior angle. So the formula for each interior angle of a polygon is given to us as 180 bracket n minus 2 all over n. If you recall, that is one of the first things we identified in this particular video. Maybe you can move back and restart it again and see some of these formulas. You need to have them offhand. Alright, so here we have each angle given as 140 equal to 180. We have to open the bracket. That is, let's substitute the value 180 bracket in place of n. What do we put there? In place of n, we put 2a plus 1. So n is being represented by 2a plus 1. That means whatever we find n, we have to replace it with what? 2a plus 1. So we have to use a bigger bracket here. So in place of n, well, we have to replace it with 2a plus 1, then minus 2 all over n. I hope this is quite clear, because n is given to us as 2a plus 1. So whatever we find n in the formula, we have to put 2a plus 1. So we have to replace that again with this n, because n represents the number of sides. That is 2a plus 1. So let's now open the bracket. We have 140 is equal to 180. Let's write it again. Bracket. We have 2a plus 1 minus 2 will give us minus 1. Or 1 minus 2. 1 minus 2 will give us minus 1. So that's why we have to have this one as minus 1 all over 2a plus 1. Let's continue at the other side. Alright, so we have to now open the bracket finally. That will give us 140 is equal to 180 times 2a will give us 360a minus 180 times 1 will give us 180. Alright, all over 2a plus 1. Alright, so now we can collect like terms. Sorry, not collecting like terms. We have to cross multiply. We cross multiply. So that will now mean 1 times 360a minus 180 will give us 360a minus 180 is equal to, then we have it as 140 bracket, because we are multiplying two things here. You have to put it in bracket. That's the 2a plus 1. All right, so let's move further. That would then be 360a minus 180 is equal to 140 multiplied by 2a will give us 280a plus 140 multiplied by 1 will give us 140. I hope this is quite clear so far. All right, so what do we do next? Then we have to now collect like terms. So this one has to come over here. We now have it as 360a, then 280a coming over here become minus 280a equal to, you already have 140 here, then minus 180 coming over here becomes plus 180. All right, so 360a minus 280a gives us 80a. 80a equal to 140 plus 180, that gives us 320. 320. So now we divide both sides by the coefficients of a, of which the coefficients of a is 80. That will now become 320 divided by 80. So therefore, the value of a is 4. And that is the answer to this question. This is a jump question, so maybe you have to watch it again to be able to understand it much clearer. Thank you and have a blessed day ahead. If you have a question, you can ask me in the the comment section, so that I'll be able to attend to your problems there. So don't forget to click on the subscribe button so that you'll be able to get other subsequent videos as they come online. Thank you.